YouTube? It's your Woodland back with another video, and today we have GT3 Explained for Formula One fans by Driven Properly. I just feel like this is the perfect time for me to watch this video as I just bought a Settle Corsa Composizione, and I've really been getting into GT3s. We're gonna save this for another day. And I've really been getting into GT3 racing, especially with Max Verstappen. So I really need to know like what it is. I've also been playing like Le Mans Ultimate for the last couple of months, so like Anyway,
if you are a Formula One fan, there is a very good chance that GT3 racing has always existed somewhere in the background of your motorsport awareness. You have seen the cars before.
I wouldn't say in the background because I did. I think my introduction to GT3 came from the Gran Turismo movie. Because I ended up watching I think 24 Hours of Le Mans for like the year, like that year's 24 hours or whatever. And that was my like introduction to
mentioned
GT3
during race weekends or in passing conversations, but you have probably never felt the need to fully understand
and
what GT3 actually is. That reaction makes sense because Formula One has always positioned itself as the absolute peak of motorsport, with the fastest cars, the most advanced technology, and the best drivers in the world. When that is the standard, anything slower can easily be dismissed as secondary or less important. However, GT3 racing exists for a very different reason, and once you understand that reason, it becomes clear why this category has quietly become one of the most important pillars of modern motorsport. GT3 is not trying to compete with Formula One, and it is not trying to replace it. Instead, it exists to solve many of the problems that modern motorsport has created for itself over time, particularly in terms of cost, accessibility,
There's also
and sustainability.
a lot of
GT3 is a global racing.
What's his name? James Baldwin, the sim racer on YouTube. If y'all know who that is, he races GT3, and so I think like the entry to GT3 is a lot. Like, it's like literally like if I locked in for like a year and a half, 2 years, really locked in on like, and I devoted my life to this, I could drive a GT3. You know, I don't think I'd be the best, but like I'd be able to get in the car.
Category regulated
I'd
under
finish the
FIA
race.
guidelines and built around production-based Grand Touring cars. That means that every GT3 car you see on track starts life as a real road car rather than a clean sheet prototype. Cars like Ferraris, Mercedes AMGs, Porsches, Lamborghinis, Aston Martins and BMWs are all adapted into GT3 specification, but they retain the visual identity and DNA of the road cars they are based on. This immediately makes GT3 more relatable because fans are not watching abstract machines, but rather racing versions of cars they recognize. Despite being production-based,
the BMW M4 LMGT3. BMW M4 LMGT3 is my favorite car. Essentially because the M4 is my favorite car, but no, bro.
GT3 cars are still extremely serious race machines. They feature stripped interiors, full roll cages, advanced suspension systems, aerodynamic packages designed for downforce and stability, racing slick tires, and sophisticated electronic systems. These are not compromised cars, but the philosophy behind their design is fundamentally different from Formula One. GT3 cars are not built to push technological boundaries at any cost. They are built to race each other closely, consistently, and across many different championships around the world. One of the most defining elements of GT3 racing, and one of the most misunderstood by Formula One fans, is the concept of balance of performance. Balance of performance, often referred to as BOP, is a regulatory system that adjusts various aspects of each car to ensure that no single manufacturer has a dominant.
Like, bro, do you see? Hold on.
System
I understand this is a video game.
Each car to ensure that.
See this shit. I know this isn't the M4, but
no single manufacturer has a dominant performance advantage. This can involve changes to engine output, vehicle weight, aerodynamics, fuel capacity, or ride height, depending on the situation. The goal is not to make every car identical, but to ensure that different cars can compete fairly on the same grid.
essentially what I'm getting from this right now is that GT3 is more of like, oh sorry, GT3 is more of the like who has more skill versus who has a better car. Because with Formula One, you can have more skill or less skill and get bailed out because you have a better car. But it sounds like with GT3, it's like all the cars are fairly within the. It's almost like a Forza category. It's like they're all within like the same group of skill level. They may not be the exact level car. Like they're not like identical or whatever, but they're close enough to where now it's just like, okay, who's the better driver? You feel me? And I think that's what I'm getting
From a
from
Formula
this.
One
That was a
perspective,
Hyundai.
this concept can initially feel artificial or even unfair. In Formula One, the fastest team wins because they designed and developed the best car. In GT3, outright speed is intentionally controlled so that competition is not decided purely by budget or engineering resources.
But skill.
Instead, balance of performance shifts the emphasis toward execution. Races are won through consistency, intelligent strategy, tyre management.
That was a clean transition. Chat. Oh my god. I'm sorry, y'all didn't even see that. Hold on. You gotta see that. I have to go back anyway, but you have to
Formula
see
One,
it.
the fastest team wins because they designed and developed the best
Chat.
car. In GT3, outright
Steve,
speed
how
is
was the
intentionally
Ferrari
controlled
right
so
now,
that
right?
competition is not decided purely by budget or engineering
Still the
resources.
Ferrari, still the
Instead,
Ferrari.
balance of performance shifts the emphasis toward execution. Races
Still
are won
Ferrari?
through consistency, intelligent
wasn't as
strategy,
clean as I thought
tyre
it was.
management,
I
and
saw
driver
the
skill,
cut.
rather than through
It's a good
spending the
transition. I
most
saw the
money
cut,
or
though.
exploiting regulatory loopholes. GT3 exists largely because motorsport needed a category that manufacturers could realistically commit to over the long term. Formula One is incredibly expensive, extremely complex, and constantly evolving. The barrier to entry is so high that only a handful of manufacturers and teams can realistically participate at the top level. GT3, by
Renault?
contrast, offers cost-controlled development, long homologation cycles, and global relevance. A single GT3 car can be sold to customer teams and raced in multiple championships across different continents with minimal modification. This customer-focused model is one of GT3's greatest strengths. Manufacturers do not build GT3 cars solely for factory teams. They build them to be sold, raced, and supported by private teams and drivers. This creates large, diverse grids filled with a mix of professional drivers, endurance specialists, and so-called gentleman drivers, all competing under the same regulations. The result is a racing
That
environment that
Mercedes
is
is
healthy,
so
sustainable,
wide, bro.
and remarkably resilient compared
Hold
to many
on.
other categories. An environment that is healthy drivers, all competing under the same regulations.
Go back. Oh wait, no.
Endurance specialists and so-called gentleman drivers, all competing under the same regulations.
This shit might as well be a Formula One car, bro. Wait, I said Mercedes. Is that a Mazda?
The result
What the
is a racing
hell?
environment that is healthy, sustainable, and remarkably resilient compared to many other categories. From a driving perspective, GT3 racing demands a very different skill set than Formula One. While GT3 cars are slower on paper, they are often more physically demanding to drive. They are heavier,
I was
they
thinking
rely
they're
less on
heavier.
aerodynamic grip, and they move around significantly more on corner entry and exit. Drivers must manage traction control systems, anti-lock braking systems, tyre degradation, and fuel consumption over long stints. Precision is still crucial, but adaptability becomes just as important. Unlike Formula One, where drivers are often chasing absolute perfection over a single qualifying lap, GT3 drivers are constantly adjusting to changing conditions. Track temperatures fluctuate, tyres wear over time, fuel loads change the balance of the car, and traffic becomes a constant challenge.
There's no way that's
In
the
endurance
actual
racing,
steering
drivers
wheel of
must
that
share the
car.
car with teammates, each of whom may have a different driving style and pace. This adds another layer of complexity because success depends not just on individual performance but on collective execution. Endurance racing is where GT3 truly distinguishes itself. Races lasting 12 or 24 hours introduce variables that simply do not exist in Formula One. Drivers must race through the night, deal with changing weather conditions, manage fatigue, and maintain concentration over extended periods. Mistakes are costly, not just for the individual driver, but for the entire team. This environment rewards discipline, patience, and mechanical sympathy as much as raw speed. This is one of the reasons why GT3 racing is so highly respected among drivers, including those from Formula One.
Max
Drivers like
Verstappen.
Max Verstappen have openly expressed their appreciation
Oh my god, I literally beat him to it. It's wonderful.
for GT racing because it emphasizes fundamental driving skills. GT3
And he
racing
drove a
exposes
Mercedes.
weaknesses quickly. You cannot rely on overwhelming downforce, perfect track conditions, or short race distances. You have to manage the car as it evolves throughout a race and adapt to whatever the situation demands.
And they be on
Comparing
some long
GT3 directly
tracks
to Formula
too.
One often misses the point. These categories are not
Nürburgring
competitors,
like
and they're
4.5
not trying to achieve the
miles.
same goals. Formula One exists to push the limits of technology and performance, showcasing what is possible when engineering and innovation are prioritized above all else. GT3 exists to provide competitive, sustainable, and globally accessible racing that manufacturers, teams, drivers, and fans can engage with over the long term. Formula One.
I'm sorry. I was letting it slide most of the video, but bro, AI is turned down so low that it's not even a battle. It's just him cutting up through the track. Oh my god.
One is aspirational,
It's making
representing the
some
pinnacle
great
of what
like
motorsport
content
can be.
though. Like some
GT3
great
is
footage
relatable,
rolls.
representing what motorsport can realistically sustain. Both are essential and both serve different roles within the wider ecosystem of racing. The growth of GT3 is not a sign that Formula One is failing, but rather that
Honestly
motorsport
though, it is essentially giving lore accurate Max Verstappen in a GT3 car, so I can't even be mad at that either.
benefits from having multiple strong categories with different philosophies. The reason GT3 is now
Cause he
everywhere
driving
is
so
simple.
well
It
too.
works. It works for manufacturers by offering global exposure without unsustainable costs. It works for teams by providing stable regulations and competitive grids. It works for drivers by rewarding complete skill sets rather than specialization. And it works for fans by delivering close racing, recognizable cars, and genuine unpredictability. GT3 does not rely on hype or spectacle to justify its existence. It quietly delivers high-quality racing across the world, week after week. And once you truly understand what
There was
GT3
definitely
is
contact
and
there.
why it exists, it becomes clear that
Had
it is
to
not
have
a
been. There's no way
secondary
there wasn't
category or
contact
a
there.
stepping stone. It is one of the strongest foundations that modern motorsport has, and one that continues to grow precisely because it understands its purpose.
Now we gotta go.
That was such a great put together video. I hope y'all learned something. I definitely learned a little bit. I'm definitely gonna get more into GT3. Anyway, if y'all enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.